Okay, it's so obvious now what they're trying to do. Okay, anonymous staffer is quoted as saying, quote, "Every 10 minutes I had to go outside to be screamed at by her and Harry." Huh. Now, they're putting Harry's name here. Huh. It was, quote, "I can't believe you've done this. You let me down. What were you thinking?" Huh. It went on for a couple of hours. So there's Harry's name here. I don't know. Okay, exactly. Palace staff used to run to the press and be blatantly anti-American and misogynistic toward Meghan, but left out this claim until right before Oprah Shuljan. Okay, it's a minute, exactly a minute. Let's listen.
According to Tatler magazine, Kensington Palace staff are resorting to calling her Meghan.
Okay, so they were calling her that.
Really speak quite badly about.
Oh, well, the way that Meghan is spoken about by the people that have had to deal with her is quite frightening.
Wow, this is crazy. These people, they don't know peace.
The tone that is being expressed against Meghan. Now, has there been a degree of anti-Americanism? Yes. Has there been a degree of misogyny, not least with this blaming of Meghan for all of it and not having Prince Harry be held responsibility for part? Yes, there has
This
been.
also fed on a suspicion about Meghan, I think. And some people didn't like her American ways. It was a lot about her being American. There was a suspicion.
And then, but they want the American dollars. When they need money, they come here. Well, now they have the Middle East to go to.
Amongst some people, that she was too brash, too American, too Californian, too forward.
So what are these too American, too forward, to this, to that? What is that?
Yeah, I think there's another factor here too, that Meghan is a very professional woman, and she's very American in that way. And the male-dominated culture, the royal household, doesn't like the kind of terms that they would use there, pushy and pushy American. They don't like pushy Americans, meaning that they don't like professional people who work hard. And a lot of the Debbie kind of girls who get to work inside the palace work from about 9 to 12. And a lot of the Debbie kind of girls who get to work inside the palace work from about 9 to 12 and then take the rest of the day off. And Meghan was very impatient with that. She wanted to see a new work ethic, maybe a work ethic as strong as the Queen's herself.
Okay, here's what happened. Okay, it happened, but the story has a little exaggeration. This story came from a guy, the Throne assigned to Meghan as her PA. Meghan wrote a letter to check on her dad and gave him to Mel privately. This guy goes behind her back and leaked the letter to the media when Meghan and Harry, let's see here. Is that a small thread? Okay. When Meghan and Harry found out, they were pissed. Okay. Is it the thing about Jason Knauf? Jason Knauf was aware Meghan was writing her dad a letter, and Meghan had explained to Jason Knauf how this was gonna happen. She was gonna send it to someone, okay, that, you know, where her name is not gonna be on the paper, okay, on the envelope, so they don't try to intersect it. So it's someone that she trusted, okay, and she mentioned that to Knauf. So what they did here, I don't think it's the person who Meghan trusted who went and said those things to, because the thing was sealed. All the person had to do is give it to the father. So what happened here, I believe, in my humble opinion, based on some documents, some stuff that made public, is Jason Knauf who knew about that and then probably mentioned it to William.
Have been, as we know, is that the Mail on Sunday had the ruling against them in February, and they were then appealing it. So it was lawyers from the Mail on Sunday who would have approached Jason Knauf, knowing that these emails and messages existed. That would have been the point, unless, I mean, the most likely outcome is that Jason obviously would have then gone to William and Kate, and clearly he has cooperated. He would not have cooperated with those lawyers without their definite knowledge.
And William, who has connection with the Mail, the newspapers, and took that, you know, used that, and then told the Mail, the newspaper that, and the newspaper people sent their people to, what is it? There's a picture of Meghan's dad with one of a lady. I believe she writes for one of those newspapers in the UK. And then this is how they probably got the letter. They got it from Meghan's dad, and this is why they thought it was okay. But in reality, okay, due to laws that exist, when someone write a letter, which I did a mini research about that because I was very concerned. I didn't know the answer for that. I thought, okay, once you send a letter, that's it. But no, the law says that once you write a letter, you even if you mail it out, it is your copyright, because this is your copyright. It's private between you and the person. So this is where they thought they could get away with it, because they got it from the father directly. The father gave it to him. I don't know if it was sold or if he just gave it to them freely. I doubt it is freely, but it's directly from the father. Okay, and then the father was willing to go in court. But if you were following back, I believe in 2020, leading up to the final thing, the father was willing to go and testify. Okay, and then this is where Meghan, was pregnant with Lilibet, and she sent her lawyers, and can they do a summary, and they do what they need to do to prove their case, why she should win her case, and I guess she proved it, and then that's it. And then they came across, and then they added saying that Jason Knauf was part of the co-author. And then when we look at it through text messages, they give a small portion of it. This is where the senior royals was helping Mail Online or the Daily Fail with the documents. Okay, a small portion of the letter where Knauf suggested, okay, give Meghan an idea. Okay, maybe in your letter, maybe you should include this. This was the part that Jason Knauf suggest to Meghan. Said, okay, we've been trying to reach you. You were not picking up your phone. This and that. I'll be putting the screenshot of these things because I have those stuff. And this is the part that they were trying to use to say Knauf is part of the co-author. So when Meghan won her case, where now the court wanted to split the winning, not winning, whatever, there's a term for it, when the Daily Mail were supposed to pay Meghan based on certain things, whatever, I can't think of the name. All right, Jason Knauf was supposed to go to court and to prove his side, why he is the co-author of the letter. Okay, he never showed up because he only suggested. He couldn't prove it. All right, because he will have to tell them what did he write, because on the text message he only suggested to Meghan, maybe you should include that. And then in response to Jason Knauf, okay, Meghan said, oh, that is a good idea, I will insert it, or I will revise some form like that. Okay, so everything is Meghan. So I'm a little bit lost, because I'm always talking about this because I have a copy of it. All right, let's see here. Found out. Okay, when Meghan and Harry found out, they were pissed. When Meghan wants to talk, they use the quote. And royalty, we don't do that here. And quote line, his excuse was Meghan is supposed to know that her letter might get leaked. Okay, next thing, because Meghan doesn't want him to work for her, he accuses her of bullying. So was it Knauf who suggests that? Okay, I do not know. Okay, this part I'm not aware. Who was the person who said Meghan was bullying? I don't know.
Royal household, about someone who was, at the time at least, a very senior member of the royal family. Meghan was married to the sixth in line to the throne. And, this is very serious indeed. But one other thing that I've learned is that whilst this bullying claim was submitted by their then chief communications officer, the head of comms at Kensington Palace, the staff involved didn't know that had been submitted, and when they found out, they asked for it to be rescinded. So we've got quite a difficult story here about a bullying complaint.
The allegations of bullying that Meghan faced in the workplace, in the royal workplace at the palace, somewhat complex, because we talk about allegations and accusations. We've heard the word bullying thrown around. In fact, even the palace put that on a press statement when they announced they were launching an internal investigation. What we haven't heard are any examples or anecdotes to back up these claims. And, you know, when we spoke to many of the sources that helped us throughout this book, people who are for and some who are even not particularly on the side of the Sussexes, no one was able to give any information that supported or backed up those claims of bullying. And when we dug into it even further, we found out that the individual who had made the claims of bullying in the workplace at the palace, the individual who had made the claim of bullying in the workplace at the palace was sort of speaking on behalf of a few others in the workplace. This was a concerned boss. He was the private secretary to the couple and to William and Kate, who had written to the Human Resources Department to air his concerns over how staff were feeling. Now, what we detail in the book, and I've already gone into detail with in the past as well, was that two of these individuals, when they heard that that complaint was made, immediately went to their boss and asked for the information to be rescinded. They wanted to take back any allegations of bullying. So that leaves a few question marks over what these bullying allegations are. We've yet to hear actually what happened. No one's come forward with that information. And the palace say that the investigation continues. We may not hear anything until next year.
So it seems like it's suggesting it was Knauf. So I'm not aware of that. So I do not know this part as a fact. Okay. He said, Sam, quote, and royalty line, and quote, Meghan has no power to fire her as he was appointed by the throne. After everything, the guy was, I think he just wanted to be the middleman between Harry and Meghan. Between, you know, the Sussexes and the Cambridges. So he could let the other one know what is happening. All right, let's see here. Meghan has no power to fire her as he was appointed by the throne. After everything, the guy was appointed to the service of Prince William and Catherine. They even promoted him. Okay, so that's probably Knauf. This tells a lot about what these people accuse her had in mind. Okay, let's see here. Yes, yeah, no. When that many people say it happened another way, I believe them. You have no proof it happened any other way. Good try. Okay, for someone who in her history does not have any bullying claim, for all of a sudden to all of this accusation, when the palace on the other hand have a consistent record of doing those type of things. So you tell me.
Prince Charles also has a legendary temper, as his staff know to their cost.
Charles and Ken Stark were away for a weekend with friends, staying at a friend's house, and Charles was trying to put his own collar studs in, which he doesn't normally do for his formal show. And he dropped one of the studs, and it sort of bounced around the sink and went down the plug hole. Charles was in a fury, just ripped the sink from the wall, threw it to the floor, shattered it into 1,000 pieces, retrieved the stud, and Ken had to put it in. And then when Ken had put it in, Charles grabbed him by the throat. Well, they said, "You do understand, Ken, I just have to let this out."
My wish is that my husband finds peace of mind, and from that follows other things, yes. My wish is that my husband finds peace of mind, and from that follows other things, yes. My wish is that my husband finds peace of mind, and from that follows other things, yes.
Prince Charles expected his butler to keep visits to Camilla a secret from the princess.
Paul just turned around to him and said, "Well, are you expecting me to lie for you, Your Royal Highness?" And Prince Charles said, "Well, yes. Yes, I am." And went into this histrionics about being the King of England, the future King of England, the Prince of Wales, and "You will lie," stamping his feet, and then threw this book in Paul's direction.
My wish is that my husband finds peace of mind, and from that follows other things, yes.
I just had a bit. Is it September the 12th?
13, sir.
Oh, God, I'm the wrong date. 13?
Yes, sir.
You said 12 earlier.
We know the 12th. It's something 10. Oh, God, I hate this. Oh, God, I hate this.
Oh, look, it's going everywhere. Hang on. Is anybody got trouble?
My wish is that my husband finds peace of mind, and from that follows other things, yes.
Alright, so there's that. Okay, she should have called him, still should, unless the whole family are co-conspirator. I think so too. I think the family is a co-conspirator. Alright, there's all of this. Actually, there was no way to stop Thomas Markle once the British media had him. He was on front page buying toilet seats as his new throne to saying this, to sniff cocaine. The coverage pre-wedding was cover to cover. Thomas Markle for days before wedding. It's rather sad. Yeah. There's no coming back. When you hear those Karens are saying, oh, Meghan should do this. Meghan was trying to amend with him before the wedding, but he came and said the whole plan was to mess up the wedding.
That may have been one of the things that upset her. And of course, the photographs were a setup. I was set up by a guy named Jeff Rayner and another guy named Dylan Howard, who was with American Media, I think. And the whole thing was a plan to actually mess up the wedding.
He told them, and then they cut him off. They don't have him back in anymore. Ever since then, I never come across a clip of him talking to the media. They cut him off.
It was an unfiltered interview with Thomas Markle. In retrospect, maybe we should have put a filter on him.
Exactly. We don't have a dump button, do we?
No.
No.
We need one now, I think.
Yeah.
He released the plan. The plan was to mess up the wedding. But thank God, I believe Harry and Meghan, before all the shenanigans, before anybody knew of their courtship, they already had something. They said to themselves, if this happened, we'll do that. And then come to find out, knowing what Meghan knows about her side of the family, Harry, who definitely know his side of the family, seal the deal way before everybody else know. Let's see here. This is something I've been saying for a very long time about Harry and Meghan, who had their little discussion way before everybody knew about their courtship. And come to think of it, now, knowing what we know now, especially after the Oprah interview, is that Meghan had said that before the big spectacle wedding, they did their small little ceremony privately, just the three of them.
3 days before our wedding, we got married. No one knows that, but we called the Archbishop and we just said, look, this spectacle is for the world, but we want our union between us. So like the vows that we have framed in our room are just the two of us in our backyard with the Archbishop of Canterbury, and that was the piece that...
Just the three of us.
Just the three of us.
So maybe this is one of those things that I was seeing. I don't know. So I just want to throw that out. Not that I have a crystal ball in my hand or anything like that, but this is something that I've been saying way before the Oprah interview, that before the whole world knew about their courtship, about them seeing each other. So there was something that they sealed, or some sort of a words that they said to each other that pretty much, sealed the deal for both of them. So I just want to bring that up. If you understand how a classic society works, you understand how powerful a tool Thomas Markle was for the media and getting people to hate her. It wouldn't have mattered even if he had good to say. She would be judged by his action and made an outsider. Yeah, they did everything they did to stop everything. But thank God, Harry, the two people that were meant to be understood each other. That was Harry and Meghan, and thank God, and they did what they needed to do to get the Queen approve it and then get it done, and then they stay on good terms with the Queen until she passed. Everything else is just noise. All right. So the bullying part, who accused Meghan of the bullying, I do not know. I know what I just read and what I assume was. Okay, I don't know for a fact, but the other things I'm aware, because I have not hard copy, but I have a copy, electronic copy of the things that I was saying. Next tweet.